Judith Marianne Morin, born on December 18, 1944, was deeply enmeshed in the notorious Australian Morin criminal family, her life mirroring the twists of a gangster movie plot. She became implicated in the infamous Melbourne gangland killings, a series of crimes that shocked the nation. Her first marriage in 1963 was to Leslie John "Johnny" Cole. This union was marred by tragedy when Johnny was killed in a drug-related gang conflict in Sydney in 1982. Their son, Mark Cole, born in 1964, later adopted the name Mark Moran, aligning himself with the family's criminal reputation. Judy's relationship with Lewis Moran began in 1966, resulting in the birth of their son, Jason Moran, in 1967. Despite their years together, the couple divorced in 1995. The turn of the millennium brought further turmoil to the Moran family. Mark Moran was murdered in 2000, Jason Moran in 2003, and Lewis Moran in 2004. The family saga took a further grim turn when Judy's brother-in-law, Des Moran, was killed in Ascot Vale in 2009. Following this, Judy and 3 others were arrested for involvement in his murder. She was accused of concealing the getaway car and disposing of it, implicating her in the crime. A police search of Judy's home unearthed a hidden safe containing handguns, stolen license plates, a wig, and clothes matching the shooter's descriptions, bolstering the case against her.
Another handgun with seems to be a night aiming device on that.
Denied bail for being a community risk, Judy was convicted in 2011 of Desmond Moran's murder. She received a 26-year sentence with a 21-year non-parole period, cementing her infamous place in Australia's criminal history. Another notorious female gang leader that served time in prison was Sandra Avila Beltran. Sandra Avila Beltran, known as the Queen of the Pacific, is a prominent member of a Mexican drug cartel.
Pero no es nomás con el narcotráfico, hay mucha corrupción en cualquier ámbito social.
Her involvement in crime is deeply rooted in her family connections. She's linked to Rafael Caro Quintero, former leader of the Guadalajara cartel, and is a relative of the Beltran Leyva brothers of the Sinaloa cartel. Additionally, she's believed to be the niece of Miguel Ángel Félix Gallardo, considered the godfather of Mexican drug trafficking. Her family, involved in heroin smuggling since the 1970s, later branched into cocaine. DEA officials assert that Avila Beltran embraced the inherent violence of the drug trade, employing typical intimidation tactics of Mexican cartels. She had relationships with several notorious drug lords and was twice married to former police officers turned drug traffickers, both of whom were eventually killed. Her ascent in the drug world is attributed to her relationship with Juan Diego Espinosa Ramirez, aka the Tiger, a key member of Colombia's Norte del Valle cartel. Residing in Guadalajara and Hermosillo until 2001, her involvement in drug trafficking was suspected after a large cocaine shipment was intercepted and linked to her and Espinosa Ramirez. Despite her conspicuous lifestyle, Beltran adeptly avoided leaving incriminating evidence. In 2002, her life took a dramatic turn when her teenage son was kidnapped, demanding a $5 million ransom. Her decision to seek police help in this personal crisis inadvertently exposed her to law enforcement scrutiny. After years of evasion, it took extensive efforts by federal agents to finally arrest Avila. Initially charged with organized crime and drug trafficking conspiracy, some of these charges were dropped. She faced detention for illegal weapon possession and money laundering, pending extradition to the U.S. Finally, on August 10, 2012, she was extradited to the U.S. to stand trial on these charges. Next, we travel to Ottaviano, where Rosetta Cutolo existed as the mastermind behind one of Italy's most notorious organized crime syndicates. She was the sister of Raffaele Cutolo, the head of the Nuova Camorra Organizzata, NCO.
La certezza di uscire.
Mi può spiegare perché lei ha la certezza di uscire?
Non lo diciamo.
Despite Raphael's frequent incarcerations, he continued to run his criminal empire from prison. Rosetta stepped up to assist her brother, executing his commands from behind bars and cultivating his loyal following on the outside. A resident of Ottaviano noted that without Rosetta, the NCO would have likely crumbled. She was an adept negotiator, dealing with cocaine lords in South America, and even participating in high-level meetings with Sicilian mafia and Camorra representatives to quell the violent feud between the NCO and the rival Nuova Familia. Despite her influential role, Rosetta maintained a low profile, leading a modest life, caring for her roses and shunning public attention, unlike her brother, who relished media exposure and courtroom speeches. Rosetta operated from the Castle Maricello, a 16th century mansion with 365 rooms, equipped with tennis courts and a swimming pool, strategically located near Poggioreale and Ascoli Piceno prisons. In October 1981, police raided her fortress during an NCO meeting. Cutolo managed to flee, disguised in a car driven by a local priest. Following this, she vanished from public view for over a decade, continuing her activities from various safe houses. In February 1993, after her hideout was discovered, Rosetta surrendered to the police. She received a 9-year sentence for mafia affiliation, later reduced to 5 years, but was acquitted of 9 murder charges. Her unassuming appearance and the perception of her being harmless worked in her favor during legal proceedings. However, that wasn't the case for Maria Licciardi, another extremely dangerous Italian drug lord. Maria Licciardi's life in Naples was deeply intertwined with the notorious Camorra gang. Raised in Secondigliano, a suburb heavily influenced by the Licciardi clan, Maria was steeped in a criminal environment from a young age. Her father was a renowned boss in the local underworld, and her brothers rose to prominence within the Camorra ranks, solidifying the family's formidable presence. Her marriage further entrenched her in this world, as her husband was also a Camorra member. When key male members of her family, including her brothers and husband, were arrested, Maria stepped into a leadership vacuum. She became the first female boss of the Secondigliano Alliance, a powerful conglomerate of Camorra gangs dominating drug and extortion rackets across Naples' suburbs. Under her guidance, the alliance evolved into a more secretive, sophisticated, and powerful organization. Maria was innovative in her criminal strategies, notably incorporating prostitution into the clan's operations, previously forbidden by the Camorra's code. This expansion brought increased revenue, but also involved the grim exploitation of young girls in forced prostitution. Her reign was challenged by a conflict over a shipment of highly potent heroin. Maria opposed its sale, fearing it was too dangerous for consumers and would damage their client base. However, the rival Lorusso clan disregarded her concerns, leading to a tragic spate of overdoses and deaths. This incident triggered a public outcry and a subsequent crackdown on the Camorra, culminating in Maria's arrest. Even from prison, Maria continued to exert control over the clan, proving her indomitable influence. Released in 2009 after serving a lengthy sentence, she narrowly avoided a major anti-Camorra operation in 2019. In 2021, at 71, Maria's criminal career came to an end when she was arrested while attempting to flee to Spain. She was sentenced to 12 years and 8 months for her continuous leadership of the notorious Camorra gang, similar to Maria Leon. Meet Maria Chata Leon. Chata, a notorious figure in the criminal underworld, commands a vast network involved in drug trafficking, murder, and more. She is a mother to 13 children, a detail that underscores the contrast between her maternal role and her criminal activities. In 2008, her world was rocked when one of her children, Danny Clever Leon, was fatally shot in a confrontation with police. Determined to attend his funeral in the United States, Chata faced a significant hurdle. She was in Mexicali, just across the Mexican border, and barred from re-entering the U.S. due to her history of incarceration there. Undeterred, Chata sought the services of a human trafficker, Alvarez Marquez, known for his daring and unconventional smuggling operations. Marquez had a reputation for successfully transporting challenging items across the border, including a 3-month-old baby and a truck full of Chinese workers concealed in a freezer truck. However, facilitating Chata's clandestine border crossing presented a unique challenge. Marquez proposed 2 audacious methods to help Chata, either helping her scale the formidable border fence or suggesting a perilous swim through the polluted New River that flows from Mexicali into Calexico, California. Both options were fraught with danger and complexity, but highlighted the lengths to which Chata was willing to go. Complicating matters, While Marquez was coordinating with Chata's son, Francisco Real, federal authorities were conducting surveillance on Francisco, suspecting him to be a key player in the Drew Street Gang, an organization linked to Chata's criminal empire. This surveillance operation allowed the feds to intercept the details of Marquez's smuggling plan. Acting on this intelligence, federal agents arrested Marquez on charges related to the conspiracy to smuggle, transport, and harbor undocumented individuals. This crackdown extended beyond Marquez, leading to the apprehension of approximately 25 other gang affiliates and undocumented individuals associated with the operation. In the midst of these developments, Chata, also known as Maria Leon, found herself entangled in the legal repercussions. She was ultimately sentenced to 8 years in prison, a significant blow to her criminal operations and a testament to the law enforcement's efforts to dismantle her network.